I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love.
What's going on, y'all? It's your big homie, the armchair operator, and today we're going to do a first shots video of this beautiful Geissele Super Duty. Check it out. Now, the Geissele Super Duty is one of those AR style AR-15s that I've had my eye on for a little while now, and a little while ago I finally got a chance to grab it. But as always, I gotta give a huge shout out to, once again, Bunker 2 Gun Shop. I keep trying to tell y'all, man, they got a lot of good stuff. Definitely check them out. I'm gonna leave their contact information down in the details section of this video, so y'all can definitely check them out. Now, the Geissele Super Duty is an interesting rifle. It's one of those rifles that has a reputation for being bomb-proof, reliable, something that you could really depend your life on. It's also a rifle that is in use, I believe it's also in use with the U.S. military in certain configurations. Of course, they have their own configurations, you know. Disclaimer in case anybody wanted to know, the U.S. military do not use AR-15s as their standard mainline duty weapons, just so you know. But some of their weapon systems are very similar to the ones that us civilians, us peasants, are allowed to own. But anyway, enough about that. We're talking about this beautiful rifle here. So, first and foremost, I love the finish of this rifle. I love it. Like, it has like a burnt bronze FDE type of Cerakote. It's actually really nice. Now, if y'all did see my unboxing video, this rifle looks a little bit different than it did in that particular video. If you have not seen that video, definitely go check that out, and then come on back and check this out, because we're just going to get in a little bit more detail right here. But first and foremost, as you can see, we got some extra things on here. So let me just talk about how I have this rifle set up at the moment. So we're going to go from tip to butt, basically. So we're going to start at the front. So we have a Streamlight ProTac weapon light on here. So I have this mounted, and one thing I like about the Streamlight kit is that it actually comes with this tail cap so that you can have the pressure pad, right? So I got the pressure pad already mounted, and so that way you got your momentary on like that, right? And then you got your constant on too. So I think that's really cool. I don't have the cable management zip ties or anything on here just yet, because right now I'm just kind of testing it out. So I'm not sure if this is going to be its final position or whatever. So that remains to be seen. But even still, me personally, I'll probably end up using Ranger bands to bring this wire a little bit closer to the rifle. But anyway, moving on from there, we got your standard, you know, M-LOK grip panels. I like these particular grip panels because they have that extra texture, and believe it or not, they actually really help at keeping the heat off your hand. So definitely highly recommend getting yourself a set of textured M-LOK grip panels. So let's go on from there. So under here we have our basic Magpul vertical grip. It's just an M-LOK vertical grip. Originally, if you looked at the unboxing video, I had an angled foregrip. I had a Magpul FD angled foregrip. And while the angled foregrip was okay, one thing about me and my wrist is that, you know, having to bend my hand forward like that a lot as I'm grabbing the forend was kind of pissing off the ligaments in my wrist. And, you know, as a guy who likes to lift weights and is also in his mid-40s, my joints get cranky pretty easily sometimes. So I just decided that I wanted to transition to a vertical grip. I run a vertical grip on my other rifles as well. But the advantage, at least in my opinion, to running like a little vertical grip like this, if the handguard gets too hot under high volume of fire, I could always beer can this guy and take my hand completely off the handguard. So that helps a lot, especially as the rifles get hot. So moving on from there, let's talk about, oh, now here's another thing as far as the addition. So this is the Geissele T3 red dot. So I did an unboxing video on the Geissele T3. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. But this is actually a budget red dot that I'm actually testing right now. So I figured since the rifle was new, why not put it on a rifle and do some testing with it. And I put a couple hundred rounds through the rifle with this particular red dot attached. And so far, it's actually been really, really good. I mean, I've even dropped this rifle intentionally with this red dot on here. It hasn't shifted zero or anything. So far, things look promising, but we still got a ways to go with that. But anyway, that's my red dot. And of course, we got the Magpul Generation 3 flip-up polymer sights. They basically just flip up via this button right here, boom. And then we got that button right there, boom. And we got the flip-up iron sights, you know, backup sights or whatever the case may be. So now let's see. Oh, and here's another thing. So this is a recent addition. So this is a Magpul K2 XL pistol grip. Originally, the rifle comes with a Geissele grip that has a bit of a more of a cant to it, and it has like a little nub here. Now, while that grip was okay, and I managed to, you know, I run it pretty much fine as it is, I prefer something that's a little thicker, like the Magpul K2 XL grip. So I recently just put this guy on there, and I haven't shot it yet with this particular grip. So when you see the shooting footage, more than likely you'll see it with the older grip, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, like as far as my basic setup goes, that's pretty much it. So let's actually dive into the features of the rifle itself. All right, so getting into the features of the actual rifle itself, let's start back from the top here. So we have a Surefire muzzle device here. It kind of looks like the A2 birdcage, just a little bit longer. And this particular muzzle device is able to, I'll put it like this. You can do direct thread with Surefire style suppressors onto this muzzle device. So you will definitely be seeing a Surefire RC2 and FDE on this rifle at some point down the road. But moving on from there, we have a 16-inch chrome line cold hammer forged barrel with a 1-in-7 twist rate, I believe. The gas system is, well, it's Geissele's proprietary length gas system, but it's very similar to a MIG length gas system. The gas block is, I believe, is a 0.075 inch low profile gas block that is pinned to the barrel itself. It is actually a very solid, secure connection to the barrel. So I think that's really nice. And we have a 15-inch handguard, which I believe this is a anodized PVD coating. I believe it's an anodized PVD coating. I just know that it's burnt bronze, or what I like to call baby poop brown FDE, and I love this finish. Anyway, moving on from there, like I said, 15-inch handguard. As you can see, it goes almost the full length of the barrel itself. And we have two built-in steel reinforced QD slots, one here and one right here. Now, one thing that I really like about this handguard is the lockup system. So we got these two screws down here, as you can see, right? So we have that, and that's still on the other side. Let me show you that. But the other thing too is, look at the top. So you see the rail on the upper receiver, and you see how the top of the handguard is kind of keyed into that slot on the upper receiver. And essentially what that does is it gives it a really solid lockup. Like, this thing doesn't twist or turn or move at all. And it is actually a very solid lockup. Also, this is a fully free-floated barrel, as this piece clamps down onto the barrel nut. So, you know, I think that's really neat. Now, unfortunately, the rifle is not fully ambi, but we do have an ambi safety, which is really good. And what I like about this particular ambi safety is that this particular side right here is the longer side, and this particular side is slightly shorter, so that way when you hit the safety and as you're gripping the firearm, it's not digging into your index finger too bad. You know, it's just right there. It's not bad at all. Unlike, like, say something like my DDM4 V7 Pro, which also has a manual safety. The safety is just a bit too long on that particular side of the gun on that rifle. So I just wanted to put that out there, just to kind of illustrate the differences. Let's see, moving on, of course, we have our standard blast deflector here. We have our dust cover. Oh, by the way, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm supposed to show clear. So, as you can see, the firearm is clear, the magazine is clear, and once again, we are filming in a safe and controlled environment. So I apologize for that. I usually do that at the start of the video. But anywho, moving right along. So anyway, as you can see, we have an ambidextrous charging handle right here. Let me lift this up real quick. So we have an ambidextrous charging handle right here. This is Geissele's airborne handle, so it's not as wide as some of their other ambi charging handles, which is actually really cool because if you have the rifle slung across your body, you don't have those handles digging into your chest or snatching onto your kit or whatever the case may be. So that's cool. But as you can see, you can activate this charging handle from either side. So this is a fully ambi charging handle. Moving on to the rear, we got our B5 system SOP mod stock with the 2 battery compartments on the side, and we have our 6-position buffer tube assembly. We have our QD point back here and recoil pad, and you know, like as far as the basic features of the rifle itself, I mean, that's basically it. Now, another thing to note, in case you were wondering, the barrel on these are also HP tested and magnetic particle inspected. So for those who are either new to the AR world or not really sure what those particular term means, HP is basically a high proof test. So essentially what manufacturers will do, they will run a high pressure load through the gun, basically for testing purposes, to test it for stress, deformities, and so on and so forth. And with the MPI, the magnetic particle inspection, is basically just a way of examining the metallurgy, just to, like I said, examine it for cracks, deficiencies, and things like that. So a lot of true AR heads, as it were, they look for some of those things as far as their barrels, and it's also as far as their bolt carrier groups, to verify that they're up to snuff. You know what I mean? Their quality, they're not going to fail on them when they need it. So that's the good thing about this particular gun. It has all of that, in case you were wondering. And you know, for the MSRP, now that brings me to another point. This rifle is not cheap. This rifle is not a cheap rifle. It's not up to the level of, say, something like a Knight's Armament or a Noveski or an LMT, but it's certainly more than your radicals, way more than your radicals, way more than your stags, and more expensive than your IWIs and so on and so forth. Price wise, this particular rifle is around $2,200 MSRP, well, $2,200 street price, somewhere around in that range. So it's kind of on par with your Daniel Defense rifles. So if you're familiar with the Daniel Defense, these are pretty much priced on par with those. So just to give you an idea of what you are going to be spending if you're looking to get into one of these rifles. Now, one con from the rip that I'm going to say when you're buying these rifles, that they do not come with a magazine. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine as far as whenever I buy a rifle. If you're buying any magazines fed firearm, it should come with a damn magazine. I'm sorry, I will stand on that hill till the day they put me in the ground and beyond. Because for the money that you spend to get into something like this, it should come with a damn magazine. I'm sorry. So just so you know. Now, they take standards to NAG, PMAG, so you can find them anywhere. So you're not going to have issues finding the magazines. But just know that you're going to have to buy a magazine, and you're also going to have to buy yourself some sights. So one thing that I always advise people, if you're looking to buy your first AR, chances are it's not going to come. It may not even come with a magazine, but more often than not, it's not going to come with sights. So get yourself some sights. get yourself some magazines, and the very next upgrade that you should do is get some type of optic, whether you're talking about a red dot, whether you're talking about a holographic, whether you're talking about an LPVO or HPVO, whatever the case may be. You got to be able to see what you're aiming at, and you got to be able to have magazines to feed the gun, right? So it just makes sense. But anyway, enough about that. Let me go over how this particular firearm has handled for me on the range so far, and then after that, we're just going to close it out. All right, so on the range, one of the things that I've noticed about this rifle is that it's really lightweight, right? But even so, it is very soft shooting. Now, real quick, one thing that I didn't talk about was the fact that you have Geissele's single stage trigger here. And anybody that knows a Geissele knows about Geissele, they know about their triggers. So combined with the fact that you got that soft single stage Geissele trigger, and you have I believe they have an H2 buffer inside of here, it just soaks up the recoil with all those different things. And also the muzzle device, and the muzzle device is keyed on the bottom so that it helps to mitigate recoil. So like I said, all those elements together makes for a very soft shooting rifle, even though the rifle and its stock configuration is relatively lightweight in my opinion. But anyway, the gun is very, very accurate. After I got the sights dialed in, you know, it's accurate. It's an AR. You know, contrary to what some people might tell you, AR-15s do not have tremendous recoil. They're actually very light shooting guns. I mean, because essentially you're shooting a 22 caliber projectile out of the gun, and we all know that they don't have a lot of recoil. So, but I mean, it's accurate, it's fun. One thing that I will note about the rifle is kind of like a concern that I had before I shot it was the handguard. Because, you know, M-LOK style handguards, they tend to get hot, I won't say pretty quickly, but after a while they get hot, right? But with this particular rifle, it didn't get hot as fast as I thought it would. And I think that comes down to the fact that the actual barrel profile itself. Now, Geissele has kind of like their own barrel profile that they're working with, but the best way that I can explain it is kind of like they have the thicker portion of the barrel before the actual gas block itself. But in this case, it doesn't really get, it gets a little bit thinner, but not really as it gets towards the muzzle. But I say all that to say a thicker barrel helps to absorb more heat. It's not a heavy profile barrel, but it's also not a pencil profile barrel either. So if that makes any sense, I don't know. But with the rail panels on the foregrip, it really does. I mean, it keeps the heat back from my hands, is what I'm saying. So, and also just talking about the B5 stock. Now, this is actually my favorite type of stock. I love the B5 system stocks. And my first rifle, which was my LMT Defender, that's the actual stock that the B5 was developed from. It was developed from the LMT stock. So I've actually been used to this stock for my entire AR journey, and I've been in the ARs for a long time. So I really liked it. I really like it. Now, what I like about it is the fact that you got that good cheek weld, and then plus you got the recoil pad where you can really just get up into the rifle just like that. That solid cheek weld. And you can really just keep it tucked in and make a rock solid connection between you and the rifle, and, you know, have some very accurate shots downrange. So all in all, this rifle is a joy to shoot. And with that single stage trigger, man, that's like a go fast, you know. That's of course, it's not a giggle switch, of course, but it's just a nice, soft, consistent trigger pull, the short reset, man, and it's really fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to putting more rounds down range with this particular rifle, but it's going to take a little while because we all know the cost of 5.56 and 223 is going up. So yeah, it's going to be a while, but it's definitely going to happen. And like I said, y'all will be seeing me rocking the RC3 on here at some point. But Anyway, to close things out, this rifle so far has been very fun. I haven't had any issues on the range, any stoppages of any kind. I've put about 350 rounds through it so far of some X-Tech 5.56, also some PMC Bronze 223, and I can't remember the other rounds that I used, but they were 223 too. But all in all, the testing will continue, and I will be doing an update video down the road at some point. So, but enough of that, y'all. I'm not going to keep you guys and gals any longer. We have definitely come to the end of another one. And again, I got to give special thanks to all of my longtime subscribers. Well, long time, like I've had the channel for years, right? But anyway, my A1s from day ones, those who've been rocking with me for a while, all of the new people who just joined the channel, and all of the people who are to join in the future. Thank you so much. Y'all hear me say this a lot in the videos, but it's really through y'all watching, liking, commenting, sharing, all the support that y'all give me is the reason why I'm able to grow this channel and to continue to bring you all some great content. So definitely hit that like, hit that comment, and subscribe. So, but anyway, y'all, I'm going to turn you loose. This is your big homie, and I'm out. Peace.